does help if I press the button to go live. What's up, everybody? Gonna be taking a look at some charts. If you've got anything you want me to look at, let me know. And now it's officially been the audio test. The audio test is over. We're locked in at this level of volume, birds chirping. We just make sure we got everything aligned here correctly. This there, this here, this there, chat there. GPU, says Blake. Okay, never heard of it, but we will take a look. Let me just delete all this. Is that a crypto coin? Okay, there we are. Ba-boom. Just make sure I got the right. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know if this stream's going to take 2 hours today. I don't think there's that much going on. I don't think this... My economic framework, I don't think that's changed too much. I don't think what's going on has changed too much. There was some hemming and hawing about a ceasefire in the Middle East. I don't think that's going to happen. The Ukraine stuff doesn't seem to be getting any better. That just seems like a smoldering fire continuously. Rates certainly aren't coming down anytime super soon. I don't think the unemployment number we had in the US was enough to urge Powell to cut rates sooner. We've got a CPI print, by the way, next week. And let's just look at the nowcast, shall we? I think this is the only thing that really matters, is how will the market interpret next week's CPI number. It's on the 15th. The 15th is what, Wednesday? Yeah. So Wednesday morning. Here's the question for the entirety of the stream. Do you want to pre-position yourself into anything going into Wednesday morning? That's question one. Second question is, do you think CPI will be above or below expectations? That's the next question. The question after that is, how much above or below expectations? If yes, on the previous question. Then the fourth question is, how will the market interpret that? Right, because we were hot 0.1% above expectations on the last print. Market went berserk to the downside. It was super bearish. This is what the nowcast is predicting. Now, the nowcast was wrong on the last one. So again, does anybody actually know what's going on here ahead of time? I don't think so. I think it's going to be about unchanged month over month. Core is, I think, coming down month over month. I don't know what last month's core was. Anyway, this is the only thing that matters in the moment, from now till Wednesday. Previously, the May CPI, this month's 9 days in CPI, this was actually down month over month, but now it's up month over month. This is just estimate, early numbers, whatever, but not a good sign. For May's number, which comes out in June, all this stuff is delayed a month. But that's kind of the only thing that really matters right now, is the directionality of this number. I don't think, outside of maybe UJ exploding and dollar strength, if dollar strength takes off, if this explodes higher, everything's kind of in trouble. So that's definitely something to watch. Gold's kind of settled down. We can take a look at that. There was a falling wedge on gold. I think that broke up this week. I haven't double checked. Legacy indices are kind of just flat. On trend, they look like they want to be bullish. I just don't know how excited people are to be buying the legacy or the indices up here. Even Nvidia looks okay, right? We'll take a look. Like, do I want to buy Nvidia up here? Not really. Should I be buying Nvidia up here? Maybe, based on the cloud. The cloud likes it up here. Liquidity's up slightly, but again, like none of this, I don't think any of this stuff until CPI is enough to move us out of this range of like 56 to 63 or whatever it is. It's just kind of like, we're just doing nothing. Flows have been flat. So flows are not going to, I don't think flows are going to come back until we're out of the range. I think if we break down, flows come out in a big way. I think if we break up, flows come in a big way. That's just how people are, right? They don't want to touch this stuff until there's momentum one way or the other, I think. Options aren't coming anytime soon. The Morgan Stanley warehouse stuff gets closer by the day. It's supposed to be mid-May. So that's coming up. That'll help the flows, right? But I don't know. I don't think anything down here on the crypto side is enough to get us cranking. I think it's all about the macro right now, and this list is not bullish for Bitcoin, not bullish for crypto. So I think you're either taking positions now on the crypto side with the expectation that they play out before Wednesday, which I think is optimistic, or you're like pre-positioning for Wednesday if you expect some movement, right? Unless maybe it's just going to be a nothing burger. I don't know. Hybrid, yeah, Goku. It's funny because if Goku's here, so last week we had an individual that I was a little hard on. He was making fun of Head and Shoulders charts, and there was a lot of them last week. There's going to be a lot of them this week. So if he's here, he's not going to like what I'm going to say about that pattern, because there's a lot of chart patterns right now that are Head and Shoulders. Anyway, so that was last week. If you weren't here, if you missed that one. Where would you get into BNB and near? We'll talk about that. Maskey, what's up? BH, is it over? Is it not over? I characterize the crypto investor as like this like dopamine junkie who wants moves on the 5-minute chart. So for those people, I think it's over, because I think you're going to get seriously chopped up. For the people who step back and take 5 seconds and just chill for a little while, like, they'll do fine. I think for the next month, we're probably going to do a bunch of nothing. So I think you just got to take more time. DPIN coin. Okay. Blake, like, give me some tickers. I have no clue what DPIN means, honestly. Rio, PBR, UTSL. Never heard of those, but we can take a look. T-Fuel. I think we looked at that last stream and it was kind of just junk, right? Let's go to this. Let's make a new category on the today's watch list. This is chat suggestions. I made my list. My list is sound. My list is the best of the best. This is chat suggestions. Chat wants their bags higher, so chat will tell me whatever they want to tell me. Rio. Now I'm guessing most of these charts, not just throwing shade at this individual after asking them for stuff to look at, but I'm guessing most of these charts are not great. Just guessing. UTSL? Also, if these are a mix of, we'll take a look at both. If these are a mix of crypto and legacy, you gotta let me know, because I don't know the ticker. Sit tight summer, that's right. What happened to you and Mr. Krogsgaard's shows? He's just been busy doing non-crypto stuff. That's it. Um, if he wants to come back and do crypto content, I'm all for it, but he's just been busy. What's up, Golshi? Sep. Bosun USD to my daily review. I don't know about daily, but we can look at it on the stream. Also, it helps if you tell me the exchange, because some of these, like, otherwise I have to go through 5 exchanges to see which has the best chart. I'll just assume it's Bitfinex, but I have no idea. What else we got on here? Been short ETH in BTC since Saturday. Worked out so far. Yeah, I mean, hedges seem fine to me. Again, I don't think we're going anywhere. APU ETH. I mean, come on. APU USD. God. Did you mean ape? Maybe you meant ape. Unless that's, I don't know what that is. I don't know. TRX in the daily. TRX. I haven't looked at that one in a while. Sure, we'll take a look. TPET Legacy. Like the commodity suggestions? Love it. WAMPL. Crack. Is that, Joey, is that Cracker Barrel? No, what is that? I don't actually know what that is. Like crack spreads? Like, what are you talking about? Earn? Now we'll take a look at XLU. Earn. Sure. No. It's funny because I don't know who's in chat, obviously, right? But I'm guessing some of these people don't know what I'm about to say. They don't know how I'm going to own their bag hard here in a second based on sound technical analysis. Ina, sure. Let me pull this up. I don't think there's, what is this? If we go to Kraken for a second, is there anything that's up? Mostly junk. I don't think there's some AI stuff. Sushi. DeFi, man, I don't know. I feel like DeFi has a serious risk of just getting delisted everywhere. Just getting regulated to death. So UMA, I forget what this is. I used to know. I mean, there's nothing there now. I think it's good every once in a while just take a look at take a look at random junk and see if there's anything. There was an Adam and Eve on that at the bottom, but way too late now. What was the other one? AKT. People were asking me about that a while back. I mean, I don't think there's an entry there. Not that anybody cares. What am I looking for when I look at charts? I'm looking for a chart pattern. I'm looking for trend breakouts. I'm looking for stuff like this. Here's a thing. Here's a inverted head and shoulders down there with a breakout, right? I'm looking for just like easy, obvious stuff. I don't think there's anything easy or obvious at the moment on that. What else was on here? Render. Yeah, see, some of these charts had... Last week we talked about this, like, W possibility for a lot of charts. There was even... You can see this on lower time frames. Take off the cloud. You had this, like, Adam and Eve thing that went nowhere. on low time frames. And then it's like, okay, do we just ignore that and focus on the higher time frame? There's clearly, a W that played out here. Now what? I'm guessing, is Nvidia up today? I'm guessing that's why these AI coins are up, but I could be wrong. No, Nvidia's down today. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Super helpful, I know. You look, it's anything that has a bullish TK cross on the daily with price above cloud. If you're looking for alpha, that's what I'm looking for. So if this gets a bullish TK cross, I don't love that it's up 10,000 million% in 6 months, but you could literally say the same thing for Nvidia. I just like Nvidia because it's just a great thing to test your sanity. Like, how would you have traded this using your system? If we look at daily legacy cloud, so daily legacy cloud on Nvidia is crossed bearish on the TK cross right now. It looks like garbled mess. It had a bunch of patterns here that like kind of went nowhere. It had the inverted Adam and Eve that broke down. Now it's got this, like, look, this stuff is not perfect. It's all over the place. This is not the definition of like an easy pitch, right? But this argument for just longing anything that has consolidated with a bullish TK cross price above cloud, I mean, that argument down here, when I was a non-believer, talking about testing your sanity, like, this is the example. Just like, look, if this thing gets another bullish TK cross, go for it. The difference then versus now is this spent like what, 6 months consolidating, right? So it's a little different. It's not exactly the same. I don't know. I still don't like it up here. It's not bearish. I don't like it up here. But you could say the same logic with render, right? Like, if anything, you could say, well, now I talked about this in the alt video yesterday. A lot of these charts have this like head and shoulders attempt, right? You can kind of see it. They're trying to break down. Render in this case is negating and validating that bearish pattern. So then in that case, I would measure it in the opposite direction. What does that measure to? That measures to, if we fix all this nonsense, get rid of all these. That measures to like 1820 from here. So that's almost the 2x from here. Do I think that can happen? I guess. It helps that if you're trading this, it helps that like it's a market name that people know and are looking at. So it's gonna have follow through momentum. Now if you're on like some super ultra low volume, like this chart, okay, this just had $500 in volume today. Ampleforth, hey, there you go. Somebody asked me about this. Like, to me, this is not a name that's in the zeitgeist that people care about. So it's going to have a much harder time breaking out. This chart is just, it's ranging. Doesn't look like anything. It's just going to have a harder time breaking out. What if we go 3-day? Whereas something like Nvidia and Render, those are going to have follow through because those are names that people are watching. At least that would be my expectation, right? Like, if this suddenly gets bullish on trend, it will have follow through because people know what's going on there, right? They're paying attention. Some of the other AI coins definitely don't look as good. FET here, just neutral. Ocean Do they have an AI? They should add an AI category. What's the other ones? Ocean, below the cloud, just not there yet. You know, maybe you could argue ascending triangle. Doesn't look great. I don't think they have the other one listed. What is the other? I don't remember the other AI coins. Maybe AKT. We just looked at that, but anyway. Is there anything else on this list that people care about right now? I talked about this yesterday as well, like AVAX. You know, I guess it's better to look at Link. This doesn't need to actually play out. It's just this. I can't shake that this could be a Head and Shoulders, right? So like Render, if this breaks up, great. I can change my tune, but until then, this is just default bearish for me. I just can't see it any other way. And this could chop if you take what if we do this? Does this on trading around Kraken? Bars pattern. Okay, that was that long. So that takes us into July, you know, right? This could chop for a month and then break down. Like it could be that brutal where you're like, oh, this isn't a Head and Shoulders or whatever, right? But on a lot of these alts, like I talked about yesterday, like all of them could just go back to their October breakouts. Why not? Who's buying this stuff, right? People kind of care about Bitcoin, maybe ETH, maybe Solana, meme coins, AI coins. That's it. I don't think anybody cares about anything else. Here it is on AVAX, right? Same thing. Like this could just chop you up for a while and then break down. And I think ICT Ben arguing the same thing, that people just go on a snooze fest in the summer, alts break down against their Bitcoin pairs, and that's that. All right, let me catch up with chat. Crack spreads. Crack the drug, okay. Yes. INTC. That's Intel, right? Yeah. I like this again. It's like the bots from Twitter follow you everywhere, right? So they're in the chat saying like, my coin is the best coin. This could be the one. I don't think so. I don't think anybody actually takes that seriously. I hope, but Ocean Fat Agix. Yeah, Lucas. So those AI coins, that merger, I think the second they do that, they get hit with the Wells notice from the SEC. They get delisted from all U.S. exchanges. I could be wrong, but that doesn't exactly scream decentralized to me. So, in the eyes of the SEC, I would assume that would be an unregistered securities labeling, but what do I know? WMPA. You kind of made my point there, Crypto Lover. WAMPL is different than Fourth. Again, like, do people know that? They might know that, but do most people know that? I'm going to guess no. XRP and XLM look like news event is coming, a bad one. Yeah, I think both of those. Again, like, think about the difference between Ripple. Like, if you're honest about Ripple or whatever else, if you're honest about stuff like Ripple or Litecoin, nobody cares about this stuff. They just don't. Okay? Ripple is going to be the last thing in a cycle that moves up. That's that, right? So you could sit the entire cycle, not that you're advocating for this the person that brought up Ripple, because they're not, but I'm just saying, like, you could sit in this for a year and a half and think, oh man, today's my day, and you're just eating that opportunity cost. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. In my opinion. But yeah, I wouldn't touch this. I wouldn't touch Litecoin. It's just, why? What's the point? what's the point? You're better off just waiting. We can look at it, right? You could say, I'm going to buy the diagonal. Okay, go for it. Buy the diagonal. It's up. It's at the same price it was in 2017. You know, like, yeah. If you think you can find the 1 week that this thing is up, go for it. Who am I to stop you? Lots of token unlocks. Yeah, that's the other problem, Blake, that Blake brings up. Never mind the USD pairs. Like, if you're talking about the BTC pairs on all these charts, it's game over. It's just game over because they cannot withstand the token unlocks, the inflation, the coin emissions, however you want to think about that. It doesn't stand a chance against Bitcoin. It just doesn't. Yeah, DZ will take a look at Sol, Monero. Cup and handle on BTC if the inverted head and shoulders fails. Yeah, I guess I should probably talk about Bitcoin, huh? Not much going on. This is where my head's at. Take all this off. So look, the weekly, do we see anything on the weekly? Candlesticks, chart patterns. Loosely falling wedge. Loosely on the weekly. Last week's candle was a dragonfly. You had one here. You had one here. Dragonfly just means a tiny body with a long tail. Okay. You can go back and just visually backtest dragonfly candlesticks. Okay. Here's an inverted dragonfly right here. Boom. That's bearish. Dragonflies tend to be bullish. But what you really care about with any chart, any candlestick, is not the candle that forms the fractal or whatever, the candlestick itself. It's the next candle. So it's this week's candlestick. This week's candlestick is closing below last week's dragonfly. As bullish as last week was, this week's candle, it's got 3 days to close, but this week's candle is kind of negating the bullishness of that fractal, in my opinion, or that candle. So there's like levels, like probability, right? If you're green this week, that means you're above last week's close, which means you're higher on the, where's an example? Here, right here. These two candles right here. You had a spinning top into a dragonfly into an inverted hammer. Okay. Do we have that here? No, we don't. We don't. We just don't. If this closes green, that's different, but we don't. So this is a wash. This is nothing. You know, last week was great, but this week certainly doesn't look as bullish. If we go to the daily, you can start to see this inverted head and shoulders possibility. You can maybe see the falling wedge possibility. We certainly still have this triple top thing that we're dealing with. Again, it's not, there's nothing clean here. There's no clean fastball down the center, right? There's nothing. This is obviously ultra rangy chop. If we go to the 4 hour, again, you can kind of start to see that we're in maybe the right shoulder here. Maybe we've got a diagonal neckline on this head and shoulders that's building. But it's too early. It needs time. It needs lots of time. So there's just nothing to do. Nothing to do at the moment. If we add a bunch of stuff to this, I was saying the 1050, like if you hate patterns, if you hate the cloud, just pop on the 1050. When you're trending, the 1050 moving average MA is great. Okay. So what are you waiting for here? You're waiting for a bullish cross. The bullish cross and the 50 moving average will likely coincide with the success of a inverted head and shoulders breakout, right? But we're not there yet. So I'm not touching this. I just don't care, right? We can look at the 200-day moving average and the 140, the 20-week moving average. That's between, what is it, 50, 51 and 56. So if we break down, I would expect support down there. We could turn on pivots. And there's a support pivot at 52.5. All the more reason, again, to expect support down there. If we add back the pitchfork, there's to me a confluence of stuff down here that if we break down, I would expect us to stop here. Okay. So I don't see anything that's like telling me right now to push a button, right? There's just nothing here. On the cloud itself, the cloud agrees with that because the cloud is telling you we're in the cloud, anything is possible, up, down, sideways. This is a no trade zone. Can you retake this edge to edge trade that worked the first time? Of course you can. I don't usually take these edge to edge trades the second time, even though this might work out. This might go to 50. I don't know. I just feel like it's less obvious at that point where this may go. So with the CPI number next week, the other thing to watch is this head and shoulders possibility on Bitcoin. If we go back to like here, we go to like the 4 hour or something, right? The 1050 will be a great, just quick eyeball to watch. Whatever this ends up being, also an option. Like, you know, on Wednesday we could dive down to like 58 and end the week at like 63 or something, I don't know. And then there will be calls for this pattern to play out. That's the best I can do on Bitcoin right now. There's just really nothing else going on. And this measures if this is successful. So if we rub the crystal ball and we see where this could go, arguably 75 to 80, but ultimately it's probably going to stop. It's probably going to stop here, take a breather, right? Like it's probably not just going to shoot to new all-time highs. There's also a yearly pivot at 80. And again, the pivot to pivot trade is like, okay, if this is support, the next target is the next pivot higher. If this fails, the next target is the next pivot lower, 52.5. If you want to like keep it stupid simple, that's another way to do it. Just use the pivots and use the 1050 on the daily. And, you know, right now this would expect lower lows. That's that. Yeah, so there is this possibility. We get rid of, well, I don't want to get rid of that. Let's go to Kraken. Oh yeah, there was this thing too. Again, I don't think any of this stuff is like clear cut. Bulkowski called this a bullish pattern for some reason. I don't see this playing out as bullish, and or it's just not the right pattern. But anyway, we'll go to, do I have something here? Oh yeah, we also had this. I've got notes on every single chart, I guess. I don't think it was a flag either. I think it's taking too long. There was a great case for a flag here. High and tight. We spent like, what was that? Like 10 days making the flag super tight, post breakout, and then it broke out. Okay, I don't think that's this personally, but that could happen, I guess. I just don't think I don't think that's where we're at right now. Do I have something on here? Now I forgot what I was going to even do. There's too much stuff on all these charts. We'll get rid of this. That's fine. 8-hour cloud, is that what I was going to look at? So another thing you can look at is low time frame cloud. Again, this is going to match the inverted head and shoulders breakout. This is going to match the 1050 cross on the daily. You're not there yet. There's just no. I mean, you could cheat this. Like, let's say you think CPI is going to be fine or bullish. You could cheat this here down to 60, 58, whatever. You could cheat this and be a hero, or wait for confirmation and have a better understanding of risk reward, arguably. Just needs time. Just needs time. But that's one to watch. Something else that I kept talking about was the BitX chart on the 4-hour, telling you the same thing. BitX is a 2x ETF. It is legacy instrument. It is not going to have as much trading data as BTC spot, but in some ways it kind of cleans up the noise. And telling you the same thing. Above 43.5, and that's go time. It's still nothing here. Nothing down there. Oh, I was going to talk about the weekly. Sorry. Coinbase. Sure. Weekly. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's just do this. BTC. Weekly. Kraken. Get rid of the cloud. See you later, cloud. So there are people talking about this. Okay. Let's draw this a little better. Let's do this. Okay, that. So it's either it's either this, which is absurd. I'm on board, right? Like, look, cup and handle, inverted head and shoulders. We'll take it all. What do you care, right? They're all bullish patterns. Do we care what exactly this is? I don't think so. Does anybody care? They shouldn't if they do. It's all bullish. It measures to over 100K. This is on the weekly. It's not going to play out in a day. This is going to take you into 2025 probably. As far as, you know, getting to the target, that's going to take you into 2025. As absurd as this looks, the funny thing is in 2017, okay, guess what we had in 2017? The exact same argument, okay? The exact same argument. So yeah, like, where did this go? Let's measure it, right? Let's go, let's be generous. We'll go from even above the neckline, 780 down to 178. And we blew the smoke off of that target, right? Like, it's no contest. I don't think we're going to see the same parabolic run to infinity, but yeah, great, love it, you know? We were also talking about, at that time, I'm sure I've got videos on it. It's in 2016 or 2017, 2018, talking about like cup and handle. Again, it's the same argument. Like, who cares if this is a cup and handle or an inverted head and shoulders? It's the outcome is the same. Doesn't really matter. Both arguments to me are valid. So sure. I guess if for the cup and handle argument, again, like, how do you draw this? Do you use diagonal? Do you use a horizontal? Where do you measure this? I don't think it really matters. Like, let's be honest. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Doesn't matter. If this is a cup and handle, you wouldn't want this below 44.5. That's generally the rule on cup and handle, is you don't want the handle less than 50% of the cup. Okay, so there's that. The other thing to pay attention to here, the higher the handle, the better the post breakout move. So if we can hold this consolidation up here for however long, you know, you'll get a better breakout, which makes sense, right? People are more bullish up here if they're buying, right? If there are more buyers, they're going to hold price up. So anyway, yeah, it could be all that stuff. And you could go down this list and you could say the same thing with Solana, which we've talked about, or I've talked about in videos. Like, Is this a cup and handle? Is this an inverted head and shoulders? Like, I don't care. They both measure the same. Just take the all-time high, take the 2022 low, and that's it. Like, what does it matter? There's your target, 500 on Solana, right? ETH, same thing. What are we doing? We're taking, I don't know. Again, does it really matter where you measure this, how you measure this? Not really. As long as you're taking essentially the depth of the bear market and just measuring it, that's ETH to 5,000. Okay. Is this going to happen tomorrow? No. Is it going to happen by December? Also, probably no. Is it going to happen maybe in 2025? Maybe, right? So, can you really trade off of that today? I don't think so. I think having a broad idea of where this could go makes sense. And thinking like, okay, if ETH gets down to 2,300 again, maybe I want to buy some, hold it for a higher value, whatever. But sure, all that stuff's valid. Is it going to play out? Maybe. When is it going to play out? That's the best question. I don't think anybody knows for certain when that's going to play out. Monero, people keep asking me about Monero. Look, it's not listed anywhere. I don't know how it's listed on Kraken. Again, it's huge opportunity costs. That's it. I love Monero. I love the protocol. I love the idea of privacy. Unfortunately, you can't audit the total number of Monero in circulation, which is a problem. But yes, the privacy is excellent. It's just not listed anywhere. It's gone nowhere since 2020. It's gone nowhere since 2017. That's that. What do I think is a good entry? What do I think is a good entry on X? We'll just say. On anything, okay? Are you on leverage? Are you planning to hold for an extended period of time? Using the analysis on Bitcoin, saying like, okay, what am I looking at? I'm looking at 4 hour, 8 hour. I'm looking for inverted head and shoulders breakout above the cloud, trend continuation. It's all the same for Solana, for ETH. So what are you looking for here on Solana? The exact value is less important than like understanding where I'm coming from, at least, right? Like Solana also could be setting up for a inverted head and shoulders, right? We just had one of these. We just had one of these back here. Best seen on lower time frames, but yeah, there's a reason people talk about these chart patterns all the time. At least I do. They happen all the time. They happen all the time. So what are you looking for here? Price above cloud, bullish TK cross. Where are you going to get that? You're going to get that at 155. Now, if you're a wizard and you know where this is going to go today, start loading the boat, baby. Back the truck up. You heard him out there. Back the truck up. Load the boat. Go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I've done that enough to know that it's tough to just assume that that's going to work out. Okay. Just as I liked Solana at 102, or even I think I was talking about like 115 at the time. Again, there's a video on this somewhere. I would much rather trade the breakout at the resistance than as the pattern is forming. So if we can close a high time frame candle above 155, it's go time. It's the same thing with render. By now I feel like if people have been here, if people have seen my style of trading for a little while, they should really know that like it's all the same. That's all. I'm always looking for the same thing. Renders above the cloud. Love it. Don't have a bullish TK cross yet, but that's the next thing. If Solana looked like this, to me, Solana would be a great long. It doesn't look like that yet. And again, keep in mind Wednesday we could be down 10% on the day if inflation comes in hot on any of this stuff. So you just got to keep that in mind, trade around that. But yeah, Solana looks good. It just, to me, needs confirmation to do anything right now because it's in the daily cloud, right? Solana probably looks like the best layer one right now outside of Bitcoin. You've got other stuff like ETH. Just, it just doesn't look as good to me. This could still easily play out bullish from here. It just doesn't look as good in the moment. AVAX I talked about. Anything below the daily cloud needs time. Now, look, again, like, could you be a hero and could you just say, you know what, Josh is wrong. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy this thing right now because I think it's going to triple bottom. Of course, like, again, I'm not going to stop you. This looks like a very real pattern on a low time frame. This will play out before Wednesday. I don't think the upside for me here is worth caring about. That's the thing. But yeah, that could bottom. And again, we just saw one of these on AVAX like in January, right? You can see this mess of a whatever, right? You can draw 65 shoulders. You can give it some fuzzy hair. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all roughly the same thing. Here was your neckline. So yeah, low time frames doesn't look horrible. Doesn't look horrible. But to me, I'd rather touch this at 39 than here. I think a lot of low layer ones look like AVAX to me. Just they could bottom, they're chopping around. Anyway, so that's those. But as far as like my favorite charts right now, undeniably, near is the best looking chart right now. Hands down, no question. Okay, why is it the best looking chart? Well, it's at the horizontal resistance. Depending on where you want to measure this, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Take all the bodies and all the wicks, whatever, right? Ultimately, if we close a higher high at 8:35, it's probably game time. It's go time. I really like that this thing is struggling here and continues to survive for a couple months now. It's done nothing. I like that it keeps knocking the door on resistance. Chart pattern, inverted head and shoulders, right? If I'm long, which I am long on this, what do I not want to see? I don't want to see any closes down here. If we get any candle closes down here, I'm out. I like that we made a higher shoulder, at least for the moment, but ultimately this is my stop loss. Okay, we've got that. We've got chart pattern, we've got entry criteria. I'm already long because I like it that much. I want to be a hero. Now where's our exit going to be? Let's take the most, okay, here's the least conservative target. That's from wick to wick, okay? Do I really think this target is going to happen? Not anytime soon, but that's the least conservative target. If we take the realistic target is probably something like that. All I'm looking at is like, where do most of these wicks line up? Somewhere in there, okay? So that's what? 760. Again, most of the wicks are like at 760. 760 down to 515. Realistically, I think I think we're going probably there if we break out. Something else you can do to just cut out all the wicks and measure it. Put it on the line chart. Tell me that isn't an inverted head and shoulders, okay? This is the 12-hour and 8-hour. It doesn't really matter. The lower time frames you can see it a little better, but that's how I would map this out. Stop loss here. Entry here. This would be first target. And then this would be, I don't know, second target, I guess you could call it. Right. There you go. There's your near trade, okay? What you also might have noticed on the daily, it's above the cloud with a bullish TK cross. That's today. So look, do I know where this is going? Honestly, I don't, but I have a pretty good idea. I think the risk reward is appropriate to take the trade. I like that this thing has done nothing for months, 2 months arguably. This looks much more actionable than Bitcoin here, than ETH and Solana. Wednesday at 8:30, where is that? That is, if we go down to the 4-hour. What's Wednesday, the 15th? So like right there on that exact time point, that's when we may see some craziness on the downside because of the CPI number, but this looks phenomenal to me. Best looking chart, hands down. Also, not for nothing, it's like render, people know it exists, it's in the zeitgeist, consciousness, whatever, however you want to think about that. Another thing about near on the target on the upside, if we go to Binance, because there's enough data, there's a 1089 weekly cloud target as far as the edge-to-edge continuation. You could also say, you know, like if you want to get crazy with it, you could say this thing was something that resembled a reversal. If we measure that, that measures higher, right? Like you can justify this in a bunch of different ways. But ultimately, I think this is the target that makes sense. You got to dodge the CPI number. You got to dodge Bitcoin breaking down. But this chart looks great to me. Looks really, really good. Anything else I want to say? If we look at the 1050, what does the 1050 look like? The 1050 is also crossed bullish. One thing you'll notice with chart patterns is typically they are in alignment with the trend metrics. So the 1050 is bullish, the cloud is bullish, we turn on the alligator is bullish, right? Like all this stuff. Again, I don't know where this is going. I'm just assuming it's going up, but it helps that all that stuff's on your side. Yeah, Juan has it nailed. So the next step on this is like, where do you trade this? How do you trade this? Do you trade this on leverage? How much leverage? How much sizing? You know, that's all personal stuff that you got to figure out on your end, but it looks great. PEPE is another one that the exact same analysis applies. Doesn't have a bullish TK cross yet, but it's likely to get that. The neckline, I think I had this drawn. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that neckline makes sense to me. Same exact rationale. I don't know what the actual value is here, but that's how you measure it. You can turn on the line tool if you want to clean up like expected targets somewhere in that zone. I don't know. It looks like it bounced on the neckline. These are all good things to see. So it looks good. If we go to the 1050 on the daily, 1050, oops, 1050 is bullish on the daily. Again, that's what you want to see. Looks good. So if I'm trading anything right now, which I am, PEPE looks good, NEAR looks good. BNB to me also looks good in a different way. I think that's going to take a little bit more time. The other thing to think about in the periphery is like BNB has like regulatory permanent, okay, forever until they change their name or get sold off. They have permanent regulatory problems. Permanent, okay. Meme coins also have that. That's PEPE. NEAR probably also has issues with the SEC. I don't know. Like, I'm just guessing. But BNB is the biggest regulatory headline risk to me. Now, do those things matter to price? I don't know. But sizing, I'm just saying, like, this is how I'm thinking about it. Do I want to size up on BNB when I know every other day they get some bogus and or real headline about market manipulation? Like, no, you know, I want to be able to sleep at night, right? So yes, this looks good. It's going to probably take you into June. This to me would be an ascending triangle chart pattern. I expect this to break up. Do you start touching this here? I would wait personally, either till you see the breakout at 620 or we get deeper into the triangle. Daily cloud gives you its blessing, right? You don't have a bearish TK cross yet, but that would be the next thing to watch for if you get a bear to bull to bear to bull cross on the daily. You can see on the 12-hour how this is just kind of like doing a bunch of nothing. Similar to that NVIDIA chart, when it spent 6 months consolidating, I mean, this is the same idea, right? As long as it looks bullish on trend, looks bullish on chart patterns, you should have a bullish expectation. I bet if we turned on Bollinger Bands would probably tell you it's trying to consolidate bullish, but more importantly, Bollinger Bands are super tight, super tight. So it's telling you expect a move soon. So I like that chart for that reason. You just got to be careful with the regulatory stuff, but it looks good. It looks good. Back to the meme stuff. BONK is the other one, and I think it helps people that I'm not talking about different stuff every week for the most part. Like we've been talking about these charts for a couple of weeks now, I think. BONK on the daily doesn't quite have enough data, so we'll go to the 12-hour. It's in the 12-hour cloud. We could, again, measure this out. We can go to the line tool and say, like, there's the neckline, there's the head. Turn off the cloud for a second. This would be your target. And this is how I think of all of these charts when I'm doing them in my head. Entry, exit, stop loss every time. Okay, so here is stop loss, right? Anything below the shoulder, this is the entry. This is the target. And you could say, well, that's not a very good risk reward, Josh. And I'd say, you know what, Timmy? You're right. That's why you wait. That's why you wait. Okay, so if we measure this, let's be conservative and just say that is a 2.3 on the risk reward. On a conservative measurement, it's a 4.3 on a bullish target. After the breakout, put whatever stop loss you want on this. You probably don't want to put a stop loss at exactly the neckline because we do typically go back to that. But the risk reward gets better post breakout because your stop loss gets moved up, ideally, right? Not immediately, not like on the candle, but your stop loss gets moved up. And then from there you can move to the fractals, right? Post breakout. So when people tell me like the risk reward is not good, I'm in agreement, which is why you wait for the breakout, right? Like, and you size that appropriately. So if you're saying like, this isn't good enough for me, sure, fine, right? I'm in agreement. You don't take the trade until the breakout. Check chat, bruh. Check chat. What are your favorite breakout patterns? Well, clearly I'm a fan of the inverted head and shoulders. I'm a fan of the ascending triangle. What else we got as a breakout pattern? Head and shoulders. I mean, you can go. You really only see like 4 in the history of anything. Like, you don't really see too many variations. You see variations within the individual like groups. But for the most part, you're looking for flags. You're looking for inverted head and shoulders. You're looking for, what else did we have here? This whole thing was an inverted head and shoulders. Here's a bear flag, right, that broke down. This was a descending triangle here that did not break down. At least at the time I was arguing it was the descending triangle. You had an argument at that time for this as well. That didn't break down. What else do we got historically? Again, all the way back here. I was in camp inverted head and shoulders. I don't think a lot of people were, but that clearly played out. Back here you have a descending triangle that played out. Here you've got an ascending triangle that played out. So it's like, what do we have? Triangles, flags, head and shoulders, cup and handle. That's kind of it, you know. This is easily the best example of a ascending triangle you will ever see in your life. Just amazing, amazing chart pattern. That's coming off of an amazing Wyckoff accumulation. What else do we have? Double top, Adam and Eve. You know, so maybe there's 5. Maybe there's 5 that you need to know. But they happen all the time. All right, Pepe near bonk, BNB. I mean, that's the list. I don't make the list. I'm just looking at the charts, okay? Like, would not be on my top things to trade otherwise if they didn't look bullish. They look bullish. Let me run through the legacy list real quick of other things that I like, and you'll see probably instantly why I like them. This is Morgan Stanley. It's a boomer bank, investment bank. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what this is, really. At the end of the day, do I care? Not really. You know, you tell me what I'm going to say there. I'm going to say the exact same thing I'm saying on near. I like this because it spent a year and a half forming the pattern. It's been in this range for 4 years, 3 years. We talked about this last week, talked about it the week before. Again, like, I love that it's slow. I love that it's got the pattern. Looks amazing. It broke out this week. It's starting to break out. There's your target, right? All the same principles apply as everything I talked about here. Looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. After the breakout, once we get a couple candles, then we can pop on the Williams fractals. Okay, so right now on the daily Williams fractals, this is your stop loss. And back to this idea of like measuring the risk reward. Not that a lot of people ever care about this, but let's just say for the case, you know, conservative target is a 3.6, bullish target is a 6. Phenomenal, just phenomenal. Great looking chart. So that's Morgan Stanley. XLE is the ascending triangle argument. No surprise, I'm bringing this up again. Chart has looked great for a long time. Daily looks challenged. We'll put it like that. But the higher time frames look great. I like that it came back to the breakout area. This is the energy ETF. I don't know if it's going to continue, but I still like the chart. The chart pattern suggests that it should continue. This is an ascending triangle. Hey, we talked about that with BNB, right? Anyway. WPM, this is precious metals, mining. Phenomenal chart. Absolutely phenomenal. Guess what I'm going to say, right? Guess what I'm going to say. There's a reason people trade these patterns. They have an expected conclusion. They have people who trade them as such. Self-fulfilling prophecy or not, I don't really care. This chart looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. The weekly looks good on the cloud. 3-day, 2-day, daily, everything. It all looks great. Shout out to Vainsky in the Discord for bringing up this one. Looks amazing. Okay, COPEX. Another one. This is commodities again. Back to like this is copper. Same story. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And what I love about this, so Jason Shapiro talks about the commitment of traders' data and positions being crowded or not. Based on how he trades, he would never take the long on this because the positioning is very crowded on the long side. So I think it's funny that this is still breaking out. Positioning alone isn't enough to like prevent things to go higher, but the argument is if this is a crowded long, who else is buying up here would be the argument. I don't know. I don't care. I just like the technicals. This still looks good to me. Again, you had a multi-year inverted head and shoulders. So that's breaking out. Costco. On Costco, so like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, this is a Bitcoin Schmitcoin special because I think he was the first one to get me to look at this years ago. This thing had been consolidating in this super tight triangle for a very long time. It broke out. I missed this. I don't trade legacy, or I didn't trade legacy that often, but this is a great breakout, right? Bullish TK, crisscross, price above cloud, all the same song and dance with the cloud stuff. What I was talking about the other day, I tweeted it out. We had this like a low time frame inverted head and shoulders diagonal. Again, what does this remind you of? It reminds you of maybe Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin might look like this. Once you get these reps with the variations on the chart patterns and like spotting them, I think it really, at least for me, bolstered the confidence of like taking the trade, sizing the trade. On the daily cloud, you don't even have a bullish TK cross yet. Like it's already like off to the races. But it is Yeah, Legacy Cloud. Legacy Cloud, it looks great. Anyway, so that's Costco. I don't know where you get in now at this point, but chart looks phenomenal. Toast is another one I talked about for a little while. You're getting a multi-year range break. Again, I really like charts that look like this because they have done nothing for a long time and are starting to break out. On the daily, you got maybe a TK crisscross. It's bullish now, so I guess it doesn't matter. So that's a great looking chart to me. Even here. I'm not adding up here right now, but chart looks good. You had some sort of flag argument down here that I talked about as well. This just had earnings, and I don't know, it went higher, whatever. Square is another one that I keep talking about over and over again. I just think eventually this thing's going to break out. It's not a today trade, but it looks good. It looks good. PayPal, another one. It's slowly turning the corner. So, you know, if I'm looking at this stuff compared to crypto right now, like these 10 charts, like these charts look really good. Here's KWeb. This is the Chinese internet ETF. It looks good. Tell me it doesn't look good, right? So compare these charts to anything in crypto. It's no contest. It's no contest. As far as like taking the trade over the past week. So anyway, that's that. Let me catch up with chat. Sorry. Then we'll look at the chat suggestions. Okay, XMR we looked at. Lucas says he's up 300% on his fat bag. Cool story, bro. All right. I mean, look, I'm not voting for Trump or Biden, regardless of what either of them say. So, you have fun. I don't know what to say with you there. We do see a positive correlation with NQ and ETH. Interesting. Is the cloud script? Yeah, so the cloud is available free on pretty much any platform. It's on Kraken Pro. It's on TradingView. If you just type in ICHI, it'll pop up. The only thing you have to do is change the settings, should you so choose to do so, past the default 2061 2030 for crypto, 1852 104 26 for legacy. T-Fuel says turtles forever. Bro, if we look at T-Fuel and it doesn't look good, okay, you're lucky. You're lucky. It looks fine. It looks better than my poor bags, Filecoin, Flow, and what's the other one? Algo. This looks fine. You got to give it time, which you probably are because you've been asking me about it. I think you're the same person that's asked me about it for a couple weeks. Would I want to touch this here? Probably not. You know, this is part of the argument. If we look at like how this got into the weekly cloud, there's always this discussion like how do we size the trades like this? I think you just have to start once it's close to approaching the cloud and you've got a decent range bottom argument. I think you just have to start accumulating and then never be afraid to add once it's in the cloud. If we look at Filecoin, this thing's starting to fall out of the cloud. So not great, but I don't think it's over for Filecoin. We say like, as long as it's, what's going on? As long as it's in the range, I don't hate it. So it's Filecoin. Algo, same thing. Algo's got this like inverted head and shoulders nonsense. Flow, same thing. You know, so look, how do you trade this as an individual is up to you. All I'm looking at is smacking into the weekly cloud is a good sign. So yes, T-Fuel looks fine. Would I want to touch it here? Probably not. You said T-Fuel BTC. Yeah. I'm not going to stop you. Looks okay. This goes back to the initial argument of like render and near. Are render and near going to do better than T-Fuel in general? Probably, yeah. I don't think many people are looking at Theta Fuel, but I could be wrong. I could be out of the loop on that one. 2-month candles, do they matter? Who's looking at 2-month candles? Somebody actually looking at 2-month candles? Can I even pull that up? I don't know if I can actually pull that up. We can look at the monthly candle. Again, if you're like, if you want some candlestick analysis, you could argue the last month's candle was a bearish engulfing. Okay. That confirms on this month's close, which has 22 days. If this month's close closes below last month's bearish engulfing, then the likelihood of a bearish reversal is significantly higher than just taking the individual candle. So we're not there yet, you know? If this closes green inside of the previous month's candle, which was a bearish engulfing, then the odds and likelihood of bearish continuation or bearish reversal are not as high, in my opinion. That's about as far as I'd go. So does it look great here? It doesn't look great. But I wouldn't lose all hope until the end of the month if we close bearish. We have a gravestone on the 2-month total chart. Well, what about total 2? Same thing. Doesn't really look any different. I mean, if you're trading total 2 on the 2-month, what are you doing? What are you doing? Another signal to watch for. Let's go to like the 12-hour. 12-hour total 2. I will bet you if this breaks up, that means Solana breaks up. Bitcoin probably breaks up. Near certainly breaks up. PEPE, BONK. It's just not ready, right? There's another signal to watch, I guess, but it's just not ready. Leo USD. Is that what I think it is? You're talking about Bitfinex coin, right? We'll take a look. Sol, we talked about. Arweave, I'll talk about. BONK, I talked about. Say, Sui. Again, like, you might have some sort of fundamental reason to trade these non-household names, we'll call them. But I think they're going to do not as well as Near, Render, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, just generally. What else did you say? KMNO? Sure. Bitcoin could be lagging the S&P cup and handle. Sure, I guess we can look at timestamps. We're throwing them to the wind. S&P cup and handle. I mean, that's the other thing. If look, if the S&P, I don't love it, just like I don't love Nvidia, but if the S&P breaks up past all-time highs again, yeah, Bitcoin's going to have a much easier time with that inverted head and shoulders. All the bullish targets are going to be easier. This looks like a failed breakdown so far, which is pretty wild on the S&P. As far as you said cup and handle, yeah, so this was my expectation was somewhere on the bearish edge to edge, whatever. That doesn't look like that's going to happen. I don't know about cup and handle yet, but I mean, I can see what you're talking about. It's definitely easier to get bullish crypto if legacy is not going to zero. QQQ also looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm a believer. You know, the reason I was a believer down here in this breakout is because we had a pretty good case down here for this cup and handle. It was 2 years in the making. Everybody was still turbo bearish. I think we even tapped the 200-day moving average. Almost, right? So like that pattern, you really don't want to screw that one up, you know? You really don't want to screw up a 2-year pattern. This one, I don't know, like it's there. Am I as convicted that it's bullish? Not really. Not really. Did this even hit the target yet? I don't think it actually did. So that's maybe another reason to be bullish, honestly, is that this old chart pattern is still playing out, and that the target on this is actually still, like, it's still there. We just didn't hit it yet. 500 to 570. So maybe I'm too bearish on legacy. But what scared me was the daily cloud breakdown. You know, like that's a big warning sign on anything. So if we can recover from that, then I think I'll get more bullish. But yeah, I agree. They both look good. Please give us tips about drawing accurate support and resistance lines. Well, you saw what I did with near, you know. Near's a good example of something to play around with. Because, what is this? We will get rid of this. Oh, that was that, okay. What you'll see me do with support and resist typically, I won't use lines. I'll use like a box. So the difference between like near and Morgan Stanley, okay, is the order book, who's trading it, liquidity. I think this neckline is almost like to the penny perfect, okay? Whereas near, this thing is, back to Coinbase, near is like, got these crazy wicks. It's all over the place. I think partly that's because of liquidity, retail, blah blah blah, right? So you gotta have a little like wiggle room on what's going on there. That's about as far as I would go with it. You can see something like COPEX. COPEX also had this like back to the legacy is better argument. Like to the dollar, levels we're talking about here. So crypto's just slightly different. I think you just have to widen your tolerance on what you're looking at. That's all. That's all. Just whatever looks logical probably is what makes sense. Let's just look at this one real quick. Melon USD. Yeah, so he's saying Melon USD looks like a giant head and shoulders. I would agree, right? Again, I don't think I need to draw this every time, but it's got this stuff. You could go to Doge and you could say the same thing. Doge has this stuff, right? Whatever. I can't get bullish on this until that breaks down, or until this finishes, right? Whatever. So yeah, I agree. Melon doesn't look great. Can you check out SLV on the monthly? Yeah, I'll add that to the legacy. I assume that's some sort of silver, yeah. Chart patterns we talked about. ROE we'll look at in a second. The good news is that even if CPI is up, it's only transitory. Yeah, true. Why do you think they have issues? Why do I think meme coins have issues? Because in the eyes of the law, they are seen as unregistered securities for the most part. CZ 18284. I thought head and shoulders were reversal patterns. You're correct, Daniel. I think when people like are learning chart patterns, they're like, okay, this thing has to be at the top because it's a reversal, or this thing has to be at the bottom. The reality of it is, we can see this at the top, right? It's just, this was the consolidation, and this is what the consolidation, what the price action of the consolidation was, right? Do I ignore that this could be a pattern you'd otherwise see at the bottom of something? No, like, I don't know. To me, it looks like that, so I'm going to trade it like that, right? FTM. Sorry, FTM, yeah. Let me just add that to the list. That way I can just crunch all through these quickly. Prop? Is that legacy? Would you still take these altcoin trades with BTC looking like it may be distribution? Yeah, I think you, we'll put it like this. I'm taking these trades. It's tough because, do you trade alts independently of Bitcoin, or do you just say, I'm just waiting on Bitcoin? I feel like if I trade them independently, I lose, and if I don't, I lose. So I don't have a good answer. All I know is this looks good enough right now to take the trade. That's it, Now, if Bitcoin loses 60K or something, then then we're in trouble. But for the moment, I think this could do pretty well. Well, XLE is stale, XLU is bullish. Okay, we'll take a look. What about CL? Is that oil? What is CL? Yeah. Yeah, we can look at CL. I think it's just ranging. 10-year candle looks pretty good, says Joey. 16-year candle. Yeah, we can take a look at oil. Okay, I'm finally caught up. Tau, Wildcoin, Profits Crypto. What do you know about carbon credits? I would avoid carbon credits like the plague. Um, okay, all right, I'm caught up. I'm caught up. AIOZ, and I got to bounce at 4, so we definitely got to crank through these pretty quickly. I would never touch this coin either. World coin. Prop is crypto, says BQ. You got to give me an exchange. I doubt it's this, but I guess we'll look at it. Tau. Okay. Quickly through the chat suggestions. Oil. Oil's down a lot after being up a lot. It's still in a range. If we compare this to like DXY, I think it looks about the same. DXY is not down as much, but it's definitely mirrored. Do I think oil will continue to go down? If they drain the SPR, which they are wanting to, then probably. I don't see a pattern here. I don't really see anything here. It's just, you know, it's just in the range. That's kind of it. I don't think you want this expanding. Look, if you want Biden reelected, you want oil as low as possible. If you want Biden to get replaced, you want oil as high as possible. Biden knows this and will try to drain the SPR. The Saudis know this, and they will try to cut supply to push prices higher. They don't like Biden either. So I don't think there's a trade here, personally. If you're wondering like what this means for CPI, if we can keep this in the range, I think it's going to be overall neutral for CPI. But again, this goes back to like the superpowers trying to figure out who's going to get elected and what are we going to do on this side of the pond to fix the oil price before the election, whatever. I don't think there's a trade here, personally. Which is good for crypto in the moment. You don't want oil prices screaming if you're bullish crypto, because that means higher inflation. Higher inflation means rates for longer. Higher for longer. Higher for longer means bullish dollar. Bullish dollar means bearish risk. Bearish risk means Bitcoin go down. Silver looks good. Silver is one of the reasons why WPM and COPEX and the metals and commodities, like as a group, they're all doing really well. If you look at the monthly, it looks good. It looks like, again, it looks like an inverted head and shoulders. I'm not Tavi Costa, where I'm going to draw a line from all-time high with a decade of nothing, and then here's a bunch of touches. I don't think you need to go that far. I don't think that really matters. I would just look at what's going on here and say, like, you know, look, same principles apply. Gold near Morgan Stanley, WPM, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of technicals. It's telling you all the same stuff. This looks great. Looks great. See, BQ, you gave me the wrong ticker, bro. All right, we'll fix that. Pro USD. Sure. Yeah, so silver looks good. XLU. Yeah, I think Joey brought this one up, or not Joey. Doppel brought this one up in the Discord. I mean, it looks fine. It's kind of like a runaway freight train parabolic move up here. You know, I think it's a bit late to get in this. I think that was probably the level to pay attention at 64. But it has been, look at this chop. Look at this chop. Like, it's been insane. But it's doing really good. It's doing really good. If we do, you said, you said XLE is stalling while XLU is taking off. So this is XLU, XLE as a pair. And it looks like utilities relative to energy was sitting at a multi-year low. I don't know what this means, defensive, otherwise. It certainly favors XLU. I still like the XLE chart. But yeah, XLU looks good. It's just it's been choppy for a very long time. It kind of reminds me of Schwab, the Schwab chart. Because it's just kind of melting up. You know, like it had this triangle thing. Is this a rising wedge, right? Like XLU kind of reminds me of this. Anyway, but yeah, XLU looks good. UTSL is an XLU 3X ETF basically. Also looks phenomenal. Looks really good. Looks good. I think it's late to like find an entry right now, but yeah, looks good. PBR, not the $2 headache, but the oil company, I believe. PBR, oh, okay, all right. I see you, PBR. I think whoever asked me to look at this probably probably seeing ascending triangle stuff. That would be my guess. Yeah, looks good. It's going to move turbo slow, but it looks good. Definitely looks good. TPET, good as in bullish. TPET, what is this? Is this like a freshly listed? I mean, I guess this is something. Is it bullish? Is it bearish? I don't know. The two miners I didn't look at, but I should have. Wolf still looks really good to me. Terra Wolf. It's holding above the daily cloud. I'm not a fan of miners in general. I think everybody knows that, but this chart looks good to me. IREN also looks okay. Just okay. It's certainly not above the cloud yet, but like it's trying, you know? It's trying. I don't love it, but it's trying. Yeah, while we're here, let's look at MSTR, sure. MSTR. Much like Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's bullish, MSTR is going to be bullish. Tell me what this looks like. Say it with me, Goku. Goku's not even here. He's a celebrity and he's not even here. Yeah, this looks fine. It looks like it's going to break up. I'm not happy or sad about it. The bigger thing is, I meant to look this up before the stream. MSTR premium. Here we go. Bitcoin to market cap ratio. No, that's not right either. Is it? Well, what is the indicator? I had it. MSTR metrics? Premium? Here's what you need to figure out. For me, for just logic, okay? Is the amount of BTC they're holding in their treasury greater than or less than their market cap? And by how much? If the Bitcoin in the treasury is less than the market cap, that's great. That's undervalued, right? If the Bitcoin in the treasury is, if the market cap is like a 2x multiple above the Bitcoin in the treasury, why are you trading this? just trade BitX or something, you know? Anyway, this chart looks great. Looks good. If Bitcoin breaks up, this will break up. All right, where were we? TPET, INTC, oof. Oof. Some old notes from last week. So I'm guessing what I said last week is this was a parabolic move. It was breaking down. And yeah, doesn't look good. Does not look good. Certainly not bullish. Super bearish on the daily cloud, weekly cloud. I would rather buy stuff that's going up than going down, so I wouldn't even try to catch a knife here. I just don't care, personally. I would just ignore this chart completely at this point. Again, you can see another old inverted head and shoulders down there. Doesn't look good. All right, that was legacy. Let's look at the crypto list real quick. Chat suggestions. Arweave. Yes, this one looks similar to Near, similar to Render. What does it have? I don't need to spell it out, but it's got an inverted head and shoulders. Clearly, in my opinion, go to the line chart if you want to cut off the wicks. It looks good on trend. It looks good on the daily cloud. It looks good on the chart pattern. It looks pretty good. So we can bump this up just to remind myself for Sunday to look at this. It looks good. It looks good. Now, you know, do you trade Near or Arweave? Do you trade them both? That's up to you. T-Fuel we looked at. Rio. Nothing, you know. On a relative value basis, short-term, long-term, always compare your favorite alt to the best performing alt, the hottest alt. You know, this to me, not bullish. PBR. We just looked at this, didn't we? No, this was a mistake. You wanted the legacy PBR, I'm assuming. But again, same thing. In case you care about PBR USDT, I would want this above the neckline at 12 cents. Boson. This looks like a descending triangle to me. Not bullish. It's in the daily, below the daily cloud. Doesn't look great at the moment. Tron, what do you know? Tron broke up. Tron. I wouldn't touch Tron if you paid me to trade it. It's much like BNB where it's got God knows what regulatory risk, decentralization risk. It's breaking up above the neckline. You know, it's about as far as I'd go. It's kind of it. It looks fine. Daily cloud, also breaking out of the daily cloud. So as trend metrics go, it looks good. The chart pattern looks good. I just wouldn't touch it. Wrapped Ampleforth needs more time, but again, we want close above the cloud, bullish TK cross. ERN doesn't look happy, but again, if everything gets this triple bottom nonsense, right? Like, that's what I would watch for, something like that. I don't know. I think like that's less important to me than like, is this gonna beat Near? Is this gonna beat BTC? Is this gonna beat meme coins? I don't know the answer to those questions, but you know, I would want to check the BTC pair to see what that looks like. Oops. And this is just, there's nothing going on here against Bitcoin. It's not, it's just neutral ranging. Gari? Mega Chop ranging? Don't know. ENA. Ranging, chop, maybe eventually an Adam and Eve. What does this look like against ETH? I don't know. Ranging chop. Again, it's got like this potential for something. I don't have strong feelings about it. Pendle. Awful. Inverted cup and handle. Not the strongest chart we've seen today. In the daily cloud. No. Again, like, how does this look against near? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. It certainly doesn't look bullish against near. Doesn't look awful, but yeah, I do not like the Pendle chart. Leo. So I'm not a fan of any exchange token, just for the record. This is above the weekly cloud. It's above the daily cloud. It's got a bearish TK cross in the daily, but I think the bigger thing here is potentially a flag. Bull flag. I wouldn't trade this flat out, period. But it doesn't look bearish. Say. Below the cloud, so it's bearish. Is this anything here? I don't really think so. Almost looks like a Head and Shoulders down there. It's no near, folks. It's no near. Sui also, like, look, again, this has had a great run. 500% in 6 months. Does anybody use this thing? Does anybody care about this thing? What are the coin unlocks? What is the inflation? I don't hear anybody talking about this token. Ever. Now that doesn't mean that I'm like, I know everything here, but I wouldn't expect this to just miraculously do well because you have some fundamental thesis. I don't know. I'm just saying. Doesn't look good. KMNO. I don't know if this was listed 3 days ago. I have no idea. Sure. Double bottom. I don't know. No idea. Doesn't look bullish, but sure. FTM. Also more bearish than bullish. Just, not for me. AIOZ. Okay, it's got render vibes. It's trying to close above the cloud. I don't hate it. Is this AI too? Somebody would have to tell me. I don't actually know. I don't know. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. Is this a Coinbase base coin or something? I'll just put this up here to remind me. Somebody just brought up Waves, Benny. Waves is another one where it's like, it's in the LTC Ripple camp. Like, let's just check. What is the volume on Waves today? 28,000. Okay. Highest volume is Bitcoin, almost 92 million. So it's like a percentage of anything anybody cares about. Yes, like similar to Flow, Algo, Filecoin. Could this do well based on the edge-to-edge trade setup? Yes. Is this going to move first? Almost certainly no. Into 2025, yeah, I like it. But right now, at the moment, no. Like we need we need eyeballs and people looking for rotation trades, and you know, you need all that stuff for something like this to do well. But yeah, I would put it on the back burner as a future setup to keep an eye on. All right, WLD. No, it's not for me. It's like Tron. I would just never touch this thing on a principle. Tau. Also no. Does not look good. PROUSD. This thing was up 600% since March. March to mid-April, 600%. Probably needs to chill for a second. Probably needs to chill for a second. Range bound chop. It's best I got on that one. ENABTC, someone's asking, sure. I mean, okay. Again, if you want to, people are bad at quantifying risk. They're bad about thinking about it or caring about it. But if I'm thinking about something with regulatory risk, it's this very thing. So is this, is this bullish or bearish against Bitcoin? It's neutral. I don't know. I just wouldn't trade it. It's like an exchange token. It's just not for me. Yeah, Tau I talked about. There's nothing. Like, look, can this 35x from here? I don't know, maybe, but the individual coin cost is too high. Chart does not look good. I go back to the stuff that looks good, right? This looks good. This looks good. The other stuff does not look good. Last one, MLUSD. Mint layer. Again, this is 3,600% in 2 months. Has anybody in the chat heard of mint layer before? I'm gonna guess no, but I could be wrong. So I think stuff like this that had some random pump that nobody cares about is just gonna bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed. That's it. Thank you, Mateo. Thank you. Thank you, John. So I would just keep that in mind, if again, I don't think this is an exchange token, but anyway, that's all I got. I gotta bounce. Thanks for hanging out. Give me a like, dislike, comment, whatever. And we'll be back for, it's a scam wash. Yeah, I just, look, you missed the move. Next chart, right? Like, you're looking for charts that look like this. That's why, put waves on the back burner, put file, algo, whatever, right? Like, there'll be a time and a place for those to move, but I wouldn't touch something that's already moved this much. All right. Take care. See y'all later. Thank you, sir. And madam. And madams.